be in everybody's head who's especially who's listening to me. So the Kira that somebody so welcome back to another live session. I am your host Darshini and I am excited to talk about today's topic, which is somebody told me, how can we start learning about things that exist around us? I was like, right? What do you even mean? What are you even talking about? Are you talking about like people? And the person said, I got a chance, of course I got a chance to talk to somebody older than me, hence the whole topic. And I was like, and he told me, no, I don't mean like people around you, I mean everybody around you. I'm like, everything around you. I was like, what do you mean? This is a weird conversation we are having. But listen to me, it gets interesting. So he started asking me, okay, why don't you tell me what do you learn about your phone? I said, I think my phone teaches me to consistently stay ready for anything, like for a camera, for a photo, for a video, for music, etc. And he was like, then how can you stay ready for your own life? I was like, what? This got into a very deep conversation, so we're gonna talk about it on today's life. Hi, how was your day? It was quite nice. It was calm and fun, but it was nice. Thank you for asking. I hope your day was great as well. All right, let's get into today's topic. Are you able to hear me properly? If you'd respond to that, it'll be great. Hi, Mike on the dress. No, I actually want to talk like this today, so I just want to see how it feels like. So that's why I want to keep it like this. Um, so we're going to try that today. All right, let's get into it. So, the topic for today is what do you learn from people around you? What do you, not just people around you, what do you learn from non living things around you? So he, again, my friend uh, um, who looked at a tree and he told me, what do you see in that tree and what do you learn from the tree? I was like, why is this person talking like that to me? Like, I'm not a small child. I am, but I'm not a child. But then he that thought made me actually think about, hey, what do plants too much peace, what is peace when you hold it like that? Peace, what does peace mean? Peace peace sound peace, like mutter. All right. I'm gonna keep it a little away and talk to it like this because I wanna talk to it as if it's like this mic. We used to have these mics when we were kids and we should do karaoke. La 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 la. So I'm pretty excited about this mic. All right. Yeah. So what does a tree around you um, teaches you? When you look at a tree, what do you think about it? If you have, what do you think? Um, what do you think a tree teaches you? So I started thinking about it and I started thinking about, what does a tree actually teaches us? A tree teaches us to stay connected to our roots. A tree teaches us to always be kind to, sometimes even to people that are not kind to us, who are ready to cut us down because of their own profits. Tree is super abundant. Have you thought about how abundant a tree is? Why are we not thinking about life in that way? Why are we not thinking um, about a life that tree has? Have you ever thought, if you plant like a seed, one seed, okay, if you plant one seed, what would you do? What does a tree, what does a plant do? So it grow, first of all, it grows. It takes time to grow because of course good things take time. We've learned that in this, on this YouTube channel. Then it grows. Once it grows, it gives you like, one apple seed will give you millions of apples. Not millions, maybe millions of money, but a lot of apples. And then once you either eat those apples or sell those apples, one particular apple will have what, like 4 5 seeds, 6 seeds. I will get back to the question. Let me just finish this thought, otherwise I'll forget about it. So if you think about it, a tree is super abundant. Like if you plant a small little seed somewhere, it grows up to, first of all, into a huge tree. It gives you multiple fruits. um, then it gives you multiple more seeds to grow more trees, and it gives you shade, it gives you a lot of, like, like fun times around it, like you try a hammock or something. So how abundant is a tree, and why don't we, when we think of tree and we think of nature, how abundant is nature? And when you think of how abundant is nature, why don't we start thinking about how, if we are also a part of nature, we are, right, we are almost like nature itself. So if we are also nature, then why are we not thinking about we are as abundant as like a tree? Why don't you think about that? Why don't we think about life as abundant as it can get? Why are we limiting ourselves to like smaller things and smaller mindset and just being happy with whatever we have? Why are we not thinking about how amazing it would be, and to grow as a person and to grow as like a tree, to stay connected to our roots? Hi, I am from Goa, but I'm currently in Pune, and I'm doing this live from here. Okay. Mm, all right. I don't understand your question. Can you please repeat your question? It'll be great. All right. Okay. When we talk about abundance, no, when we think of, like, even when we think of trees, we know for a fact that trees don't discriminate. It doesn't matter who planted them; they will always make sure that all the trees that, even if you sit under a tree, even if you've planted it or not, it'll never discriminate. It'll give you shade, it'll give you fruits. How abundant mindset and how open is like a tree. Have you ever thought about it? A tree never discriminates. And if we are a part of nature, we should not do, like, we are extremely abundant. Why don't we start learning about things, especially um, whatever is around us? Like, why don't we think about how our phones work, and what can we learn from a phone, what can we learn from writing or like a boss, instead of now thinking about, oh my god, this does certain thing. Why don't we now start thinking about, um all right, um all right, start questioning. No, sorry, I do not question my belief self. I have taken a lot of effort to build my own morals, to build my own life, to build the thought process that I've built, and and it's super amazing the way I think. I feel like I am, I might not be the best person. I might mess up, because again, I'm a very normal human beings, and people just make mistakes. But I think my belief system and the way I think about life is amazing. And if I had the control, I would genuinely teach more people to be much more like open minded, or much more abundant like me. I don't think I would ever change the way I think, because I absolutely love the way I think. You know what I used to think when I was little? I used to think that I don't deserve anything. There was this horrible fight that used to happen in my brain, where my brain used to constantly tell me that you don't deserve anything, you have nothing, you can't do anything, you have, your life is small, etc., etc., like normal people do. It's a fight that I've had with myself, and the fight that I've won with myself. There is nothing in this world that is going to change my mindset, especially the way I talk to myself, especially the way I respect myself, especially the way, the kind of life that I want to lead. And I will never change that, because you know what, it takes it takes life, it takes a lot of effort to get to what you are, to get to what you've built. Sure, I'll keep evolving and getting better at whatever I'm doing, but I would never change anything about myself, because hey, I came from nothing and I used to hate myself. So I've gotten to a stage where I like myself now, and I have grown a lot, so I would never change that. Okay. All right, but getting back to our topic. So start thinking about what you can learn from not just people around you. Start thinking about learning things from, like, non-living things around you. Just think about, say, a light bulb that is there around you. Start. Why don't you think about how a light bulb adds so much value in your life, and it glows, it gives you value, it makes you look nice, it makes you feel nice, it makes you feel like, hey, I'm happy in my life. Or it provides you light to start reading, it provides you light to maybe focus on what you want to do. For these lives, I'm so grateful. Like, your life changes when you start being grateful and start thinking about how something can add value in my life, instead of thinking, uh, what I mean, what is this person doing, right? Your life is I don't know, yeah. I think a lot of people go into this victim mentality. A lot of people go into this, like, oh my god, what can I even do? Why don't we start thinking about life of what can we actually do, instead of, there's this there is this line, there's this funny Instagram line which says, I don't think it's the Instagram line. I think I've seen it in some Hindi movie. I think it's Pyar Ka Panchnama, where she says, if you can't change the man, change the man, which is crazy, right? If you can't change the way you think, change the way you think. Actually change. Actually think about it. Of Instead of feeling all of these feelings, like, feeling jealous, feeling unhappy, feeling like a disgust, or feeling like it doesn't add any value into my life. Why don't we start thinking about life in a different way? Why don't we start thinking about life of how can I learn from this? So I think, a lot of people, like, I read a lot and I love reading about all of these big CEOs, all of these big people who talk about life generally, and how they set up their business, how they came up with the idea, how everything worked out for them. And I feel I'm very fascinated with people, of how they are actually kind of leading their own lives. And I'm very fascinated with how people have built their own lives, especially people who have come from nothing and built so much bigger things for themselves. And I love that. So when I was reading one of those, I think I was reading Bumble's story. Yeah, the Bumble CEO apparently used to work with Tinder, and she wanted to bring some kind of change into Tinder, but the Tinder person did not agree, and then she went on to create Bumble. She created something huge for herself because she believed that she could do better. She understood that she was abundant as a tree, or as nature, and she decided to build something in herself. She believed in herself, she put in the effort to actually do something for herself. Can you imagine if she would have just said, okay, it's fine, if you don't agree to my idea, maybe I'll not do anything about it, I will just it's just a passing idea? No. Why? Why are we not building ourselves enough to believe in our gut? Why are we not building our minds enough so that we become super confident with the way our mind thinks, the way our mind works, the kind of future that we want to build for ourselves, whatever we want to do? Why are we not much more trusting? Why are we not asking about uh, about all of this, about, like, about asking these questions about, hey, what can I learn? So I instantly, when I read the whole Bumble story, I was like, first of all, I'm obsessed with Bumble account. Like, I love the way Bumble works, and I absolutely love the color yellow, and like the whole way Bumble. Oh. Oops. Sorry about that. I absolutely love the way Bumble works. All right. Okay, we're back. All right. I absolutely love the way Bumble works. So, this is not an AI generated video. I'm like a real human being. I've been seeing all of this account, like AI accounts, blowing up, where there's like a human who is speaking like this, and there's like uh, something else that's running in the background, and I get very, say, I'm all with AI. Okay, it has helped me make my copies better and my captions better, but it's scary how AI is kind of taking over. So yeah, coming back to the point, I hope you realize that you are able to build yourself enough, and you're able to trust yourself enough to take the next move, make the next make the next thing happen. Why don't we start investing time in learning from other people around us, especially, I think, including me? Okay, this is also a dig at me, where I use I waste so much time scrolling. Also, my work is social media, so it really doesn't make any sense for me not to scroll social media. But hey, like I know for a fact that I use too much social media, and I sometimes think instead of us being so much on social media, why don't we start consuming content in a way that it is adding value into our lives? Like, why don't we start thinking about, why don't we start creating content? Like, if you are somebody who's trying to create content, 2025 is your year. 2025 adds up to 9, right? I think it does 3, 4, 5, 7, 7. 2025, yeah, I think it adds up to 7. So I think somebody had some, I read it somewhere that 2025 is going to be a very good year for people who want to start something new, which was the push that I needed anyway, right? So instead of consuming that content, why don't you create content? You don't have to become famous, you don't have to be the next influencer, you don't have to be the next biggest thing. Why don't you start doing something for yourself? It might just be like you, like these YouTube diaries that you do for yourself. I've been spending so much time on YouTube and learning about things and understanding what's happening around me, and I started thinking about how a lot of people on YouTube are blowing up, of course, and how some people who put in just like zero effort, something just clicked for them. I spoke about this even yesterday. There's this saying in Konkani which says, "खबर ना कहना देव तथास्तु म्हणता तथास्तु सांगता." एक second. "खबर ना कहना देव तथास्तु सांगता," which easily translates into, you never know when God is going to say bless you. So always, always make sure that you are, first of all, are always talking kindly about yourself. So duh. Secondly, I hope you realize that you are consistently putting in the effort. And I usually, like, every time I say something negative about myself, I'll instantly follow it up with like a positive statement where I'll say, if I say, oh my god, I feel so tired today, I'll be like, okay, I need to sleep early tonight so that I can rest my body enough. Like, try and learn to find solutions with whatever that serves you. Like, learn how to, like, find more solutions with yourself instead of being in this. 2025 is not the year, honey. 2025 is not the year where you cry about not having things. 2025 is the year where you learn and grow and build something for yourself. If something doesn't serve you, job, gym, boyfriends, girlfriends, your next partners, or anything that doesn't serve you, get it out of your system, get it out of your life, and consistently know your worth. Hey, you've worked very hard to get here. You have reached a certain point in your life because you worked very hard to get to a point where you were extremely comfortable with the kind that you wanted to live. You knew that you were signing up to become a better person. You knew that you want to live a better life. Then why settle? Hmm? Why settle for less? Why become this person who is sad all the time, who's crying because the boss is being bitchy, or you are crying about, I don't know what. Like, every second person I meet, they're crying about something or the else. They're sad about something or else. If you can't change the man, change the man. And it does not only apply to man. If you can't change the job, actually go ahead and change the job. If somebody is not serving you, change the person, or actually change the space. Give yourself the time and the space to grow. Let yourself be. Learn about yourself. Do the self work. Go do reflection. Understand what you actually want. Not because somebody else is doing it, not because somebody else wants it. I did my BCom only because a lot of my friends were doing BCom. I wonder what my life would be if it wasn't, and I don't regret it. It's fine. That's what I could afford back then. That's what my life was back then, and it's totally fine. But sometimes I actually think about it. Why do we get stuck? Why do we get busy in learning? Like, why are we following the crowd? Why are we becoming sheeps? Oh, sheeps. Yeah. Why are we becoming sheeps every day? Why are we not like actually doing something for herself. What do you want to do, honey? What do you actually want to do? Ask yourself that question. You don't have to do it right away. If your dream is to travel the world, you don't have to do it right away, but you should know what you want to do. You should be extremely clear what you want to do. I spoke to a friend very recently, and he told me his dream is to start, like, to get like a patch of land, build a house in between, and grow all kinds of veggies and live in like the off grid life. And I was extremely fascinated by it because I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, away from everyone, amazing life, lifestyle, amazing lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, to like nice place to grow our kids, etc., etc., whatever. uh, and I asked him whether I could be his neighbor. Of course, why not? Or I could like crash into his house and get my kids someday. But I actually did ask him. The next question that I asked him was, what's stopping you? What is stopping you from getting your dream life? You might not do it right now. I understand, you might have your loans, you might have your education loan, you want to buy the next bike and car and whatever it is, you want to have certain amount of savings, which is all good, which is all understandable, which is all respectable. But start thinking about what you actually want to do, how you want to actually live. And you think about these, right, these things. Most I think I read this thing somewhere, or I watched a documentary on how engineers came up with the shape of like a metro, or like that missile train. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, or something, which is like the fastest train all over the world, and it can go to places very quickly. They said that they actually looked at birds, and like, and how their noses are shaped, which kind of helps them to run everywhere. um All right. Okay. I was just checking something. I'm sorry about that. So, why don't you start thinking about life in that way? Why don't you start taking inspiration from the people around you? Not just people. Why don't you start taking inspiration from everything around you? If engineers can do it, who have studied so much, who are legit building a train for you to get from point A to point B, they might be the smartest people alive. If they are taking the effort to learn from things that are living and non-living around them, why can't we do that? Why are we not doing that? Why are we not learning from people, and from non-living people, from paper or books or trees or anything around us? Why are we not taking that effort to actually learn from things around us? You know, your life is going to change once you start thinking about, hey, what can I learn from her, or what can I learn from that? Instead of thinking about, I don't know, instead of just start thinking about, it might not be practical most of the time. I totally understand that. And if you are one of those people who will be like, okay, I will learn the lesson, but I can't make the actual move because that financial difficulties, there's family involved, there is so many things involved. Sorry about that. I really do talk a lot. I need a sip of water once in a while. All right. So, why don't we start thinking about life in that way, and start learning from people around us, start learning from things around us, start learning from like trees around us, start learning from whatever there is around us. So I go to these dance classes, right? So when I go to these dance classes, I'm one of the like, mostly some most like lowest caliber person. That sounds wrong. Like, I've learned it very late, so I'm not that great at learning that form of dancing. I've been learning salsa bachata. So when I go to these socials, and I see these teachers of mine, and these people who've been doing this particular dance from ages, and I look at them and I'm like, wow, that's so pretty, that's so beautiful. At that point, I can't just be like, oh my god, this is all I can do. I can't be that person, right? I can never be that person. If I be that person, I will never grow. The same way, you will never grow as long as you start thinking about, that's all I can do, or that's all I want to learn. You will never be a bigger person. Start thinking about, what can I learn? So when I don't know a particular step that I want to learn, I don't know how my body should move, or what my hand should, like, what kind of gesture should my hand do, or my body do, or whatever, I'll go and ask, and I'll be very curious. Like, curiosity is something that is going to change your life. in so many ways that you could never imagine. Start asking questions, get curious, ask how that step was done, or start asking your boss if that how is this particular thing done. And not just your boss, why don't you start asking YouTube? Oh god, YouTube, thank you for everything that you've done for me till date. I am genuinely your biggest fan. I cannot tell you, like, making money on YouTube someday is would be my biggest, hugest goal. Because YouTube, I love you. On Guru Purnima, I legit take a photo of YouTube and do puja because I love you, YouTube. You've taught me so many things that I never thought I'd learn. I have legit, I'm legit telling you this. I have legit learned how to pronounce words on YouTube. Yeah, that might sound a little, but honestly, I have. Because, if you don't ask questions on, okay, how does that work? So if you are embarrassed to ask questions to your boss or dance partners or whatever, ask that question to YouTube. Ask YouTube on how to do XYZ thing, and YouTube is going to teach you. Most of the things YouTube is going to teach you, and take the advantage of your curiosity to learn better things. Ask YouTube, and, like, become a little more, honestly, become a little more interesting person who actually takes in the effort to learn more things. Ask YouTube on how things are done. Ask YouTube how people actually live their lives. Ask YouTube how millionaires built their, like, learn about their stories. Ask YouTube on how you can build whatever you want to build, whatever it is. Like, I ask so many questions to YouTube. I'm sure if YouTube was like, if YouTube if if YouTube was a person, I'm sure YouTube would be charging me so much money, and they'd be like, oh my god, please pay us a rent for living on our head for no reason. Because YouTube honestly is a place you can learn anything. I know people who've learned how to code on YouTube, which is, I'm like, what? How can you learn? And they're not even engineers, they're not even like real people who've done a degree, and I've seen people do it. Oh my god, how can you, like, I have learned how to do makeup. I've learned what a C type what a C type, what is it called, blush technique is, what a W type blush technique is, what lip colors work with Indian skin, what skin tone you are, and documentaries and what not. You can ask. And we live in this age of internet and chat GPT and DeepSeek. We live in the age of YouTube, where we can genuinely ask any question, and all your questions will be answered, because it's a space like that. Ask your random questions. Oh my god, YouTube answers us when we just know the hum of a song. Like, I randomly, also, I mean, I think it happens to a lot of people. I randomly will start asking YouTube, like, I know four words of this song, what song is this? And YouTube will answer that correctly, because YouTube is actually god. Think about it in that way, and start asking questions, start getting curious about things. So when I look at, like, a very good looking girl, not like good looking but good dressed girl, like very well dressed person, instead of thinking about, oh my god, I wish I could dress like that one, or instead of starting thinking start to think about, oh my god, I should, oh, what is she wearing? Which is like the, I think most of the people how kind of they think, or maybe some people always think like, oh, she's looking nice. Okay, that's where you end. Like, most of the people will start thinking about that and end their conversations there. But I want you to now start thinking about, that's an outfit. Now I'm interested in fashion, so I'm going to give you like a fashion point of view. But start thinking about it, start asking questions on, this particular dress person is dressed this way, how do we dress like that, or how do we become more fashionable like that. I saw somebody, I was on FC Road recently, which is like a place in Pune, which is near Ferguson College, and it has etc etc wherever. So I saw this girl who was wearing like a skirt and like a nice top, and she was wearing like a chain on her belly, which looked so pretty, and I was like, wow, I want that. I want to wear something like that. That's so beautiful. Hi Banu, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I I started asking that question. The more you ask yourself the question of what I can learn from this particular thing, instead of feeling jealous or envy or whatever that feeling is, it would change everything with you. Like instead of asking, like I got get a lot of hate around here to, like, that I don't speak in Hindi, I speak in English. First of all, I'm really good at English, and I'm not that comfortable in Hindi. So instead of asking me that question on, oh my god, why don't you speak in Hindi? Why don't you ask the question, oh, how did she get so much good at her English? Because I don't think a normal human, not a normal human, like a normal South person knows this much good English. Like I'm no shade at anyone, no offense at anyone. It's just how I have seen people. uh, why don't you ask that question? If you have people around you who are good at something, who are amazing at something, it's fashion, sport, whatever, why don't you ask them the question of how did you get there, and how can I get there? How can I become this person who knows about fashion? How can I become this person who knows how to pair things, how to do her hair? Oh my god, I have been learning that from YouTube, on how to. I actually started with how to take care of my curls on YouTube. Then I started with questions like, oh my god, how to style my curls from YouTube. I did not know much. Okay, I don't come from a lot. I did not come from a lot. At least my generation of kids are doing better. I did not come from a lot. A lot of the things that I've learned are the things that I've learned on YouTube, and I still do it. I still learn a couple of pronunciation. I still, now I have become this person who's learning Spanish from like Duolingo or something. But YouTube is honestly your biggest thing. Start learning from people. Start asking these questions. Get curious around this. Get curious around, okay, how do plants, I don't know, photosynthesis. I don't know why I'm going towards photosynthesis. How do plants actually make their own food? Or ask questions like, how did metros come into existence? Like randomly ask yourself this question and actually think about it. Like a lot of people that I've met, and a lot of successful people that I've met, and I have either spoken to. I'd love to do like an interview with a successful person. Wow, that'd be so cool, because I'm a curious cat, and I would really probably would annoy them with all my questions, but I would love that. Why don't you ask successful people around us, or why don't we start asking this question, that how did they get there? What can I learn from this particular person? What can I learn from this particular thing? And why don't we grow from there? Why are we treated like this? Why are we always, oh, podcast, yeah, I'd love to do a podcast. Oh my god, I can't wait to do podcast with like people who actually have impact in life. Like I don't want to be at a stage where I do podcast with just like normal celebrities, but I would love to do podcast with like real life heroes, say people from army, like people who've actually done something for the world, big like CEOs, CMOs, who's not like made money out of all of these bigger professions, but also like smaller professions. So I was watching a reel or something where I saw that one of the richest women in the world is somebody who actually makes something with the ceiling. I don't know, ceiling, not ceiling fan, um, ceiling cover thingy. It's like a boring business, okay? But she's the richest woman on this planet. I would love to interview her. I would love to ask her the question of how did she come up with that. I have seen these people of, they're not even related to the field, and they would know so much about. They're just curious. They're just asking questions. They're just trying to understand a problem and find solutions. What companies these days will do, I am in marketing, so I can tell you so I can tell you this, that what most people right now will do is create a product and then build a problem around it, which is so silly, because the brand probably will work for like a little while and then it wouldn't, or most of the people will come up with products that still exist, so it's just like a competitor product, which I think is okay, it's fine. you do you, boo. But think about these people who come up with solutions, like real life solutions. I was today somehow I got very curious around the topic of solar energy, and what I started thinking is all these solar panels that you have that are on a roof, right? I have solar geyser in my room, I think. Yeah, so I get like solar water. So I started thinking, and there's like a building right in front of my house. So I was thinking, and it has those glass windows. So I was wondering, why don't we have these glass windows absorb the sunlight and actually create use that sunlight to create electricity in that whole building? Why have we not built that uh, like that project yet? So I don't come anywhere from science, and I don't even know of engineering. I know nothing about it, but I'm just curious to know. And I'm not saying that I'm going to build something out of it tomorrow. I'm not saying that I'm going to be like a big rich person out of it. I hope I do. But just being curious is, again, looking at the windows got me curious about windows overall. And then I started applying my sustainability angle to it, and I started thinking about it. And honestly, I did this study, and there are technologies that are coming up in some years which is going to help this particular thing. But only staying curious around like living and non-living things around us actually got me to that question. Imagine if you actually put in that effort to 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 ask questions, build curiosity, and build something amazing for yourself and the people around you. Imagine, that'll be so cool. Like, actually do something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be fancy in music or in fashion or in things that other people are doing. Okay, why don't you start figuring out something for yourself? Just by being mindful around you, just by being curious around you, just by being a little more observant around you. Why don't you start asking that question? Why don't you become that person who asks, what can I learn from that? What can I learn from people around us? I always think about how these construction workers, right, they have to work so hard. Like, they have to actually hang down from the top floor and clean the windows. um, this happens especially in like office buildings. I've seen that a lot. It used to happen in like the Bangalore building, and I used to be extremely scared because I'm not scared that of heights or something. Of course, you want to do that for adventure, you should. I am extremely adventurous. I'm for it, but it shouldn't be somebody's job to risk their life to clean windows. Why are we not coming up with technologies for it? Why are we not finding much more like, people who are entrusted? Like, so, we would only need two kinds of people for this. We would need somebody who understands the technology, and we would need somebody who's actually curious, who actually cares about people's lives, and who actually is a little bit of an empath. So an empath who is an engineer would probably be able to build some a machinery that could clean office buildings in a much more efficient way than putting somebody's life at risk, right? That is why personal brand is important. Yes, definitely, it is definitely important. So if you, again, if you haven't started it yet, start creating. Stop consuming. Consume my content, please, I'd love that. But start creating your own content. Okay. I do that with chai also, and like green tea. My friends really get annoyed with it. Why are we not learning more from things and people around us? Why are we not asking that question? Why are we not building something huge for ourselves? Like, only for people, I think. I've heard this a lot of times, and I would like to put that out here again. People who have like 10%, like 50, 80, 90%, people who are 90% less talented than you are winning life because they are able to put in the 100% effort, which you are not putting because you are scrolling on Instagram. Stop it. Learn something from YouTube, build something for yourself, or build something huge, and go make me proud. All right, that's all for today's live. It was amazing talking to you. I'm Darshini Naik. It was lovely talking to all of you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next one. Happy weekend, rest of the weekend, whatever is left. Have an amazing week the next week, and we will catch up soon. Bye.